ABC 4 News, your local election headquarters.
From your local election headquarters, we have new developments just into the newsroom in the race for president.
Yeah, former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is expected to announce that she's dropping out of the Republican presidential race. Now, 3 people who are familiar with her plan say she's planning on making that announcement in her home state of South Carolina at 8 o'clock this morning. Now, that news comes just hours after the polls closed for Super Tuesday. Sources say Haley will not endorse anyone for president. Now, this morning, we also have a better idea of who Utah Republicans and Democrats want to see run for president.
So Utah's preliminary results from Super Tuesday now show former President Donald Trump beating candidate Nikki Haley with 58% of the vote. The AP called Utah for Trump based on these numbers overnight. Utah caucuses were slated to wrap up at 9 p.m., but a number of issues delayed last night's results at several locations. Now, as for the Democratic Party, the AP has called Utah for President Joe Biden. That call came in just minutes after polls closed. So far, Biden has carried 88% of the vote here. His next closest challenger was Marianne Williamson with 5%. Now, as for the delays on Utah's GOP caucuses, they were just about to begin. As they were just about to begin, ABC 4 News started hearing reports of long lines, confusions with the software, and a lack of answers, leaving voters frustrated.
We're kind of all laughing with frustration. I do know that there are several of my neighbors that have gone home because they didn't want to stay. So that, ultimately that means that they no longer get a vote.
The primary is important. And if they're going to have a caucus, which I disagree with, then they should at least send flyers around explaining what that means and explaining that you need to pre-register at a certain and how to do it on your cell phone. I would never have been able to do it without my daughter.
And we still weren't.
Now, they also say even the line for people pre-registered to vote was wrapped around the high school.
Place with a chaotic presidential caucus. Some Utah Republicans in Salt Lake City, they tell us they didn't get a chance to vote because the lines were too long. Hundreds of people filled the halls of East High School yesterday, eager to weigh in on who they want to be president. Now, some voters we spoke with say they waited for nearly an hour just to check in for the caucus meeting. They're frustrated over the GOP's decision to hold a caucus instead of a traditional primary, saying this caused some voters there to just go home.
This is ridiculous. We arrived on time. My neighbor and I both pre-registered 3 weeks ago. We were organized. We were excited about this. And to be disenfranchised this way? It's not democracy. Absolute failure. Unmitigated failure. People are angry. You can look at this long line. You can look at people are not happy. People are not feeling like they're sharing their opinions with their neighbor constructively. Yeah, they're trying to make it hard for us.
Now, those long lines started to go down around 8:15 last night, over an hour after the caucus meeting was set to start. Party officials are now blaming technical difficulties with its voting system for delaying Utah's results.
Meanwhile, in Bucks Elder County, as hundreds of voters filed through the doors, it became a race against the clock to get the caucus started on time. They say tech issues with Utah's GOP online check system quickly began clogging up the process. Because of that, county Republican leaders decided to steer people away from using the online registration system altogether and instead just verified their registration the old-fashioned way.
It was very weird because I just got handed this slip of paper with my presidential candidates.
Now, workers acted quickly and did get the caucus started on time.
As for the Utah Democratic primary, voters didn't appear to have any real issues yesterday. The party decided to hold a traditional primary election, which is familiar to voters. Every registered Democrat got a ballot in the mail to vote for their preferred candidates, so they were able to choose between mailing in their ballot, going to a drop box, or voting in person. Several Democrats we spoke with say it's important everyone gets involved and votes.
Who we elect as president sets the tone for the whole country.
No, I'm always telling people to be involved. You know, it kind of bothers me when people just want to be like, oh, I'm not involved. I'm like, but it concerns you, you know, like don't let everybody else just make the decisions for you about what's going to happen to your life and your government.
President Biden won Utah's Democratic presidential primary with 88% of the vote. Now, the picture of the presidential race has become more clear this morning. President Biden and former President Donald Trump are the overwhelming favorites to face each other in November's election. So for Republicans, Trump won by large margins in all states except for Vermont. But the race in Utah was actually closer than any other Super Tuesday contest Trump won. This comes after his GOP challenger, Nikki Haley, visited Utah just last week to try and gain support. Now, Haley's win in Vermont with just under 50% of the vote is historic. She's the first woman to win a state in the Republican primary.
Now, on the Democratic side, President Joe Biden made a clean sweep of Super Tuesday states. But in a surprising upset, he lost the caucus in American Samoa. The AP called the territory for a little-known candidate, Jason Palmer. The Baltimore businessman seems to have beaten the president by 11 votes, but only 91 people in Samoa voted. Palmer responded to the victory on X, saying he was honored to announce his victory in Samoa and thanked voters for their support.